Good evening. It is absolutely wonderful to see so many people here tonight. I'm Ken Gutman, I'm the superintendent of Walled Lake Schools, and I'm really happy you're here. And I want to welcome back our alumni, welcome back students and staff and honored guests, and the family of Kirsten Haglund. I said that right, Kirsten, didn't I? Kirsten. See, I got it. Got it. It's critical we remember, really critical we remember, honor, and recognize those who've served our district and our community so well for so many years and served the greater good. Rebuilding the Wall of Fame that we rebuilt here this evening and continuing this commitment is significant for our board and for our administration. I'd like to take a moment just to introduce our board members as well. Mrs. Lyle, who's our president, will be here shortly. She got caught up. But I do want to introduce our vice president, Mrs. Casagrande. Treasurer, Mr. Janke. Secretary, Mrs. Dunn. Trustee, Mr. Siegler. Trustee, Mr. Titus. And I know you're out there somewhere, Trustee Ms. Van Leeuwen.
I am out here. I want to watch.
All right. Recognition of long-lasting contributions is what tonight is all about. And of course, honoring Kirsten Haglund and Niles Freeland, unveiling our new Wall of Fame. Walled Lake Schools continues to evolve and change to meet the needs of every child, every day. Today we have 12 elementary schools, 4 middle schools, and 3 high schools. We serve a diverse population that speak more than 100 different languages. We serve all or part of 9 communities that cover 55 square miles. Walled Lake Schools has a long history of recognizing our students, employees, community members, community partners, businesses, and all individuals and organizations who make important contributions to our district. We have been and will continue to be about people, relationships, and developing our children. That will not change. I'd like to thank the Wall of Fame Committee, board member Nancy Van Leeuwen, who has been on the committee since its inception nearly 15 years ago. Alicia Sergnal, an art teacher at Commerce Elementary, for her contributions to the Wall of Fame. Emily Duchel and Nandita Mishra from TMP Architects, and the team at Take Form who constructed the wall just this week. I also would like to share my deep appreciation for Judy Avola, whose passion and vision brought this alive, made this happen, would not have happened without her. Thank you. I also would like to thank her team, Mark Edwards over there on the camera, and Pam Cole, who's somewhere around here, out there selling tiles, and for promoting this event, conducting the sale of the tiles. We appreciate Bill Chatfield's work to ensure the tiles were extracted from our community education building. Thank you, Pam. And we're able to present many of them and share them with our community. Now I'd like to invite Judy Avola to step forward to share some history and to share stories of our 2 honorees.
Thank you, Mr. Gutman. As the Wall of Fame story goes, in the fall of 2005, 5 district alumni from the 1950s attended a Board of Education meeting to ask if the board would recognize Mr. Roland Langerman. I think Mr. Langerman's son is here tonight. He is. There's Don Langerman. Mr. Langerman was a physical education teacher, coach, principal, assistant superintendent, and deputy superintendent from 1947 until his retirement in 1981. Those 4 individuals, Warren Williams, who was a former board member, Bill Yon, who's here with us tonight. Bill, can you stand up? Asa Smith, Bob Andrews, and Bob Elfland, who's also here tonight. And of course, as Mr. Gutman already said, board member Nancy Van Leeuwen and a few administrators all formed the Wall of Fame committee after those alumni came to the board meeting. The group researched recognition programs and tailored a Wall of Fame concept for Walled Lake Schools. They wrote the criteria nomination process. In May of 2006, the Board of Education approved the concept, and in June of 2006, the board approved the nomination of Roland Langerman as the first Wall of Fame recipient. Mr. Langerman assisted the district in planning for the anticipated population growth by recommending the purchase of several pieces of property, all of which have schools built on them today. The original Wall of Fame was constructed at the Community Education Center, and as you will soon see, the new Wall of Fame has an updated feel and incorporates the tiles that some of you have purchased today from the Community Education Center walls. Over the years, the Board of Education has recognized Naomi Smith in 2007 as the first female bus driver in the state of Michigan who served Walled Lake Schools for 27 years, beginning in 1943. In 2008, Mary Weborg, a legendary teacher from 1945 to 1972. I see some people shaking their hands. And in 2009, our very own Barb Garbett, who's here with us tonight, who was a physical education teacher, assistant principal at Dublin Elementary, director of the Wild Lake Schools Outdoor Education Center, and principal at Commerce Elementary from 1964 to 1994. She is known as Mother Nature, and we are so happy she's here with us tonight. In 2010, we honored Evelyn Brown, who was an elementary teacher from 1959 to 1987, where she taught at both Twin Beach and Wild Lake Elementary Schools and was the president of the Wild Lake Education Association. Most importantly, the Wall of Fame recipients are all advocates of children and public education, and that's what we're here to celebrate. Before we honor our two Wall of Fame recipients tonight, I want to recognize Bob Elflin. He is our alumni artist from the class of 1954, who created the sketches on each of the Wall of Fame plaques. Bob, we thank you for sharing your talent with us and your passion for keeping the Wall of Fame alive. Now we can begin our recognition, first of course, with Kirsten Haglund. We'll begin with Greg Cleveland. He's the former Wild Lake Western Choir and Performing Arts teacher who nominated Kirsten. Mr. Cleveland could not be here today, but we were lucky enough to tape a message for you, Kirsten, from Mr. Cleveland.
So when I think of Kirsten, I think of a kindred spirit. And it's not normal for a teacher during the student's freshman year to feel that, but I sure did. I realized that she had a love of the arts, singing, dancing, and acting, and that was my life. That is my life. I realized real early that she also had self-motivation, which meant a lot to me. I quickly discovered that she had a love for the world and adventures for the world. I still remember going up on a chairlift or a gondola lift in Austria, and a lot of the students were they were kind of whining because the cloud cover was rather thick, and here we're supposed to be seeing these beautiful views. And Kirsten just kept positive the whole time and said, well, something's going to be beyond the clouds. And once we got up there, it was gorgeous. I remember Kirsten being kind when it wasn't always easy to be kind. I even heard from a student who was a tech student, which meant they spent their whole time backstage during a production. And I found out that Kirsten had gone out of her way just to say hi and acknowledge this person. And that had just meant something to them for years to come, and that means a lot. I discovered that Kirsten loved all things J.R. Tolkien and the Lord of the Rings, and we bonded over that as well. And so, Kirsten, I'll always be following you in your adventures, and I'm just so proud of you, proud of the things that you stand for, proud of the things that you have stood up for, and proud of the things that you are making happen in your life. Your faith, your adventures, and the love that you bring. And Kirsten, the reason I'm not here tonight is because I am actually in Washington, D.C. celebrating Thanksgiving with your friend and my oldest daughter, Bethany. And due to family situations, calendars, we had to celebrate early, so I'm off in Washington. I've told Bethany all about this, and she was so thrilled. So love from me and love from my family, and we wish you the best.
Next, we have Dory Mikowski, owner of Dance Dynamics, who is Kirsten's dance teacher and her huge cheerleader. She wanted to congratulate Kirsten on this occasion, and here's Dory's message.
Hello, my name is Dory Makowski, and I have known Kirsten since she was about 4 years old through the Miss America organization. I'm a former Miss Farmington, and when Kirsten was born, I became the producer for the Miss Michigan pageant. And she was in the Little Princess program, which is now called the Miss Oakland County pageant. And so I've known her since she was little tiny, and I've always known she was going to be Miss America. Through the Walled Lake Western musicals, I worked with Kirsten very closely for all 4 years. She was a gem, so incredibly talented. And it's kind of ironic because through those 4 years, when we would be doing staging and getting her all ready for the show along with the cast, I would always say, Miss America, over here, Miss America, this, because I've known, like, this girl was born to be Miss America. It was such a great honor to produce her Miss America Homecoming show. I had been producer for Miss Michigan for many, many years, and when she won Miss America, and I got the call that I was in the running to produce her show, I was like, it's got to be me. I've known her for so long. So in producing the show, I was really able to bring out a lot of her life story into the show, and that's when I invited Greg Cleveland to bring his choir, and the show was at the Historical Theater in the Froenthal Center in Muskegon. So we had the Walled Lake Western Choir come, Miss Kelly, who was the choreographer for the musicals for so many years, was also the choreographer for the Miss Michigan pageant, and that was super special. It was just bringing it all full circle. Kirsten has a foundation called the Kirsten Haglund Foundation, and I've taken my dancers to perform for her events, and it's a dinner party, an auction, and a wonderful fundraiser. And I have to say, the first time I attended this event, I was just in awe. I loved watching this young lady go through her entire journey of life and then giving back to really the world. And she created scholarships for really anyone who needed to become more healthy. And she just did it in such a classic way, letting them share their story, letting them know that they were not alone. So the Kirsten Haglund Foundation is very important, and it's still going. And anytime she has an event, I encourage you to go because it really is so heartwarming. I am so proud to be a part of your recognition tonight, Kirsten. I'm sorry I'm not here in person, but as you know, I'm at the Radio City Music Hall opening night. And Kirsten, it's just been such an amazing journey to follow Kirsten. She has been a friend to my daughter, in school and dance, going through the Miss America organization, working with her through the Walled Lake School musicals, and also now with her Kirsten Haglund Foundation. It's been such a journey, and it is such an honor to be able to speak and say hello. So congratulations on the Wall of Fame.
Now I'm going to invite Mr. Gutman up so that he can congratulate Kirsten and also read her play.
Thank you, Ms. Vola. Kirsten, please come forward so I can make you feel more uncomfortable with all these videos. Read your Wall of Fame plaque. The plaque reads as follows. Kirsten Haglund, a 2006 Walled Lake Western High School graduate and 2008 Miss America, where used to be a lot of Miss Americas here at the board meeting, so this is routine, has made outstanding contributions as a philanthropist, stage performer, student, and most remarkably, honorably represented our nation as Miss America 2008. Kirsten has become an international speaker, mental health advocate, and digital media strategist. Through her media and communications company, On Point, she works with a diverse group of clients. She serves and shares her expertise with Eating Disorder Hope and Timberline Knolls Residential Treatment Center. She's the founder and the president of the Kirsten Haglund Foundation. Mr. Greg Cleveland, former Western High School fine and performing arts teacher and department chair, who had Kirsten as a student for 4 years, said, Kirsten took leadership roles in choir throughout her high school career. She performed and toured with her choirs that visited New York City, Italy, and Austria. Her senior year, she sang and performed on a student tour throughout Spain. Kirsten believes eating disorders affect the health of the mind, the body, and the soul. Her passion is to raise awareness and provide resources and treatment for those affected with eating disorders. Kirsten, congratulations. We're very proud of you. We're excited to unveil the plaque, and now you have an opportunity to speak if you want.
Okay, sure. Thank you so much. And Mr. Hess, I have not seen you in years, and I could not help but think the entire time, make it a great day or not, the choice is yours. Every morning. Do you remember that? Okay. Because I remember it. This is so special. I was tearing up watching Mr. Cleveland and Dory, and I feel completely undeserving of this honor. It really, truly is an honor. I don't feel like I've lived enough of my life to deserve this, especially considering who else is being honored tonight and the legacy that he left. But I just want to let you know from the bottom of my heart how thankful I am. And as when you grow up in a supportive community, you think everyone has a supportive community, and you think that's the norm. And as I left the state of Michigan and went to school in Ohio first, and then traveled around the country as Miss America, and then lived in Los Angeles, finished school in Atlanta at Emory University, lived in New York for the last 6 years, and I'm now overseas, you just see the brokenness, the lack of good community structures, family structures, schools that pervade and persist all over this country and all over the world. And it has just impressed upon me more and more how lucky I was to have these people. And also how lucky I was to grow up in a community in the Metro Detroit area that is so rich in diversity of people, of opinion, of background, of just in so many ways. There are so many things that this community instilled in me just by who they all were and who you all are, that I could only have taken for granted because I hadn't experienced anything else until I got outside and I saw and I realized just how lucky I was. This might be a couple more minutes, I'm sorry. I didn't prepare anything, but I do just have a lot of gratitude and things that I want to share. I also just want to let you know that the foundation that I received growing up in Walled Lake schools, from Maple Elementary to Meadow Lake to Meadowbrook to Walled Lake Middle School, which is now Geisler Middle School, to Walled Lake Western, it shaped everything that I am as a person today. And it was during my time at Walled Lake Western in high school that I really struggled severely with an eating disorder, which laid the groundwork for the passion and the work that I do today, obviously, as you saw through the foundation and through my other advocacy work. But I could not have had the strength to, and the encouragement to do that work, to continue to go after it, if I had not had a place to heal here. And Mr. Cleveland, Miss Paulin, the entire staff at Walled Lake Western, all of my teachers, Mrs. Lowe, who is sitting here in the audience, who is my AP government teacher, among other things, but she is just one of the many teachers who were so supportive of me and never looked at me or treated me like I was sick or that I couldn't continue to go on and move on and thrive and go after my dreams. And they all believed in me so much and never treated me like I was anything less because I was sick and struggling with something. I continued to do the musicals. I just continued to have this warm family around me. And without that, I don't know if I would have had the strength to continue on. Obviously, my family was also an enormous part of that. So I just want to let you know that I wouldn't even be being honored for anything, and I'm not sure that I would have had this strength to go on to win Miss America, which was also probably a result of my musical theater training from school and my participation in forensics, which is essentially speech and debate. So I probably couldn't have won Miss America without that either. But anything and everything that I am is because of what this district and what all of you gave to me, and to all of the kids who are going through school here. And so I just want to let you know I'm humbled. I am really honored. Again, like I said, I feel completely undeserving, but I'm so excited, and this will always be home for me no matter where I live all over the world. I said in the car on the way over here that it feels like I never left. Every time I come back, there'll be new restaurants or new chains, but it always feels the same. And I always know that this community is one of the most vibrant, wonderful, supportive, authentic communities that exist in this country. And I've seen a lot of communities, and this one is, in my opinion, bar none, the best. So just wanted to thank you so very much for this honor. I will cherish it. when I leave here after I spend Thanksgiving with my family, and I will always know to come back and just hope in whatever small way that this project, Judy, that you've been a part of and that I'm honored to be a small part of, will be an inspiration to generations to come. So thank you so much.
Congratulations again. It's great to have you here with us. Several years ago, the district honored Niles Freeland, beloved teacher and coach, by naming a gym at the Community Education Center in his honor. His ardent supporters, again, Bill Yawn and Bob Elflin, recently requested that the Board of Education honor Niles Freeland with a plaque on the Wall of Fame. Niles Freeland's son, who was unable to be here also, recently visited us and taped this message.
Life, and my father was a forefather here at Wall Lake Schools, I would have to say. He was like a hero here. He lived here, breathed here, coached. He was home here. He loved being at the school. He loved being at the gym. He loved the students. Everything about it. I think it'll be a high honor for him to accept this and go forward. I just wish that he was able to hear it for himself. He had told me, he says, well, son, I'm going to give you an option. You either play first string varsity or you go get a job when you're done with school. So that meant as soon as I got out of classes, I either played sports or I went and got a job. Well, luckily, I was a Freeland. We all had the genes. We played sports and played them well. And for that, I'll have to always thank him, because it was the greatest joy of all times. There's nothing that I could tell you that when he coached you, I'm getting chilly bumps. When he coached you, you felt like you were somebody, because he was direct towards you. When he looked at you, he got to your heart. He would tell you when you're doing good, he'd tell you when you're doing bad. But as life goes on, of course you can't play sports your whole life. But it does teach you when you have to play first string varsity that you have to take pride in what you do. So everything that you do in life, make sure that you're proud of it. You don't have to look behind your back and say, geez, I wish I had done this or done better. If you're always doing the best you can, you're going to enjoy life a lot more. Patience is a virtue, but I was always had ants in my pants, and it made me think of a Grok by Piet Hein. He said, it's put up in a place where it's easy to see. The cryptic admonishment, TTT. When you feel how slowly, depressingly you climb, it's well to remember, things take time. My father would sit up and thank you all for recognizing him for the time that he put in and the love and devotion that he gave Wall Lake. Junior high, high school, Clifford Smart, everything about it, from going all the way back to the wooden backboards in the schools, everything that made it apart. He knew every piece of wood in the gym floor. He knew everything, the bleachers, he knew the people. And with that, I'm sure he would sit up and say, thank you for knowing who I am. From the deepest part of my heart, I would like to thank everybody here in the Wall Lake School District for acknowledging my father for the man that he was, and God bless you all.
I also want to note that I corresponded with Niles' grandson, who is walking in his grandfather's footsteps and is a teacher and a coach at Bullock Creek High School in Midland. Niles Freeland's plaque reads, Niles Freeland, a former Walled Lake Schools high school teacher from 1939 to 1976, taught at Walled Lake Junior and Senior High Schools, taught math at Walled Lake Central High School and at Clifford Smart Middle School. Niles was known statewide in the athletic community for his leadership in sportsmanship, safety, and his unwavering integrity. He played semi-pro baseball and assisted many students in earning scholarships and placement on prestigious teams. Niles Freeland was an advocate for all children and public education, and his life and actions set the standard for the entire Walled Lake Schools community.
Oh,
Are you ready?
okay, I'm nervous now. Okay. Oh my goodness. 2, 3. Wow.
Oh, there it is.
It's right in the center. Yeah, it is.
This person, and I remember when you did yours, Naomi. Yeah, I remember that.